yo, what is up? What is up? Welcome into the show, baby. All new Sentell live on Facebook. The hottest sports podcast in the South, the best damn sports podcast, period. I am your boy, aka Mr. No Days Off, aka the One Man Dynasty, also known as the sensational Sentell Wiseman. All right, what is up, man? This is not an overreaction Monday, but a reactionary Tuesday, man. The first full weekend of the NFL season had just concluded, so I didn't want to come on last night. Obviously, you know you have that Monday night doubleheader to start the season, so did not want to intervene with that. I know you guys are ecstatic that football is back, man. I know it's different with the fans not being there, but man, a lot of quality action over the weekend, man. It was fun to see some NFL action, man. We are sports heavy. We are off and running. We have NHL. We have the MLB. We have NBA and golf. We got the NFL back. College football has started up. I mean, it's just a lot's going on right now. We got the U.S. Open in golf this weekend. We just wrapped up the U.S. Open in tennis this past weekend, so we got a lot going on, man. We're going to recap all the weekend's action in the NFL, but first we're going to go through these headlines. But this is a reactionary show, so that means I need to hear from you people. I need phone calls. I need comments. What did you see? What did you think? Who impressed you? Who didn't impress you? Is your team already in trouble at 0-1? Are you the best team on the planet at 1-0? All of that good stuff, I need to hear from you people, because I know how you people do. After the first weekend of a season, you go to pieces, or you the best thing since sliced bread. But headlines, man, we got the headlines for the day. The Big Ten apparently is going to vote again whether or not to play this season. What an absolute clown show. What a shit show this has been from the beginning. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. The Big Ten has just royally screwed this completely up. I don't know. I know what they were thinking. I know exactly what they were thinking, but it has backfired completely on them. And now they gotta pay the piper. I mean, you have to pay for your mistakes. Thinking that everyone was going to, once you cancel, they thought that everybody was going to follow them and cancel the season, blah blah blah. But I have no idea what they were thinking, if they thought the SEC or the ACC were ever considering shutting down their seasons. At least, you know, give it a chance. At least give it a shot. Give it a chance to see where it goes, and wait into the last possible moments. But for them to postpone the season in August and then make the declaration that they were going to have the season in January was just it was just stupidity at the highest accord. And now you have cost so many of these players seasons. A lot of guys have already opted out. Even if you decide to come back and play, what kind of schedule can you get together now at this point in the season? It was just a mess, an absolute travesty what the Big Ten has done. Now they're gonna come into a vote tonight. We'll see how that goes, but I just don't know what you do with them. I mean, if you play an 8-game season and everybody else is playing at least 10, I mean, what do you do with them? At what point? What do you do with those? I have no idea. You tell me. I have no idea what you do with them. But the Big Ten making a decision later on today. Le'Veon Bell, the Jets running back, has been placed on IR. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. And we'll talk about the Jets in a little bit. And we can get to the NFL scores. Allen Robinson wants to be traded from the Bears. Shocker there. You spend enough time with Mitchell Trubisky, and you understand that this is not the guy. This is not the guy that's going to take me where I'm trying to go. But apparently it's about more money. He signed a deal a couple years back when he first joined the Bears, which was a good deal for him at the time. But now he sees that the NFL receiver market has slightly took a bump, so he wants paper. So, but I think it's the other. I think it's the other thing. Mr. Trubisky, Ed Orgeron, coach of the LSU Tigers, defending national champ, says that he thinks most of his team has already contracted the COVID-19. I don't know what to do with that if you're not taking the proper precautions. And this is what's going to happen. But you know, let it run its course. But that's what Ed O says. Forget that. NBA tonight, man. We got a game one Eastern Conference Finals going on right now. We have the Miami Heat taking on the Boston Celtics. I think Boston leads early. I did see an update right before I came on, but man, what a series this should be. A gritty bunch from Miami, a really good quality basketball team. Same for the Celtics, man. They really gritty, really quality, well coached. Both teams are just well coached. Brad Stevens and my guy Eric Spoelstra, man, they just do a great job of getting their teams ready to play the system, the style of play that they want to play. This should be a great series. I expect it to go 7. I'm not picking a winner right now, but this series should be really, really, really good. I can't wait to kind of watch this as it unfolds in front of us. And then later tonight, a Game 7 Western Conference semifinals, the Nuggets and Clippers. Nuggets were down 3-1. Now all of a sudden, it's a 3-3 series. Now all of a sudden, the Clippers cannot stop Nikola Jokic at all. They have no answer for him. Which Clipper team will show up tonight, I have no idea. I don't think Clippers knows. We have, well, most of you people have hyped them up all preseason and crowned them as champions of the NBA before the season even started. So now they have dug themselves into a situation where they have to play a Game 7 against a really, really dangerous opponent, Jamal Murray. And I mentioned Jokic earlier, but this is a good Denver basketball team, well coached. Clippers got their work cut out from tonight in a Game 7, falling in the Eastern Conference Finals, Miami Heat and Boston Celtics. That are your headlines. We're going to jump straight into the NFL recap, game by game, of what we saw over the weekend. And y'all just disregard this picture right here and just let's roll with it. And we'll do it in chronological order of the weekend. This is your weekend in the National Football League. All right. You can see it was the defending Super Bowl champions on Thursday night defeating the Houston Texans 34-20. Story of the game to me was Clyde Edwards, the rookie running back out of LSU. 25 carries, 138 yards and a touchdown. Just what the Chiefs need, right? Just what the Chiefs need. Another offensive weapon, another toy for Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I mean, just ridiculous. The Texans, Deshaun signed that contract. God bless him. Get your money, young fella. But this situation is not going to end well for you at all, because Houston is a mess. Just an absolute mess. But the Chiefs get it done, 34-20 over the Houston Texans. Yesterday it was the Washington football team, trail 17-0 to the Philadelphia Eagles. Come back, win the game 27-17. Story to me was that Carson Wentz threw 2 interceptions, and the Washington Redskins front, which drafted Chase Young from Ohio State, had some good pieces already. Montez Sweat from Mississippi State, they drafted him last year. They sacked Carson Wentz yesterday 8 times. You're right, 8 times. 8 times the Washington Redskins defense sacked Carson Wentz. They led 17-0 and just had a complete meltdown in the second half. And the Washington football team is the only team that get a win in the NFC East. They win 27-17. It was the New England Patriots over the Miami Dolphins 21-11. Cam Newton scored 2 rushing TDs. They ran the ball for 200+ yards, 40+ attempts. So it was obvious that the game plan was to run the football, dominate on the line of scrimmage, not put having Cam throw the ball, absorb the amount of times, but they ran the football down Miami's throat. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, when you expect things from him, this is what he does. 3 INTs. He played terrible yesterday, and the tour clock has already begun to tick down in Miami. It was the Green Bay Packers over the Minnesota Vikings 43-34. Aaron Rodgers, that bad man, was absolutely sensational on Sunday. 4 TDs, 32 of 44. Devontae Adams caught 14 passes for 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. Packers in a shootout beat the Minnesota Vikings 43-34. It was the Jacksonville Jaguars defeating the Indianapolis Colts Gardner Minshew, 3 TD passes. Mustache Mania. Gardner Minshew, 3 TD passes. Phillip Rivers, I told you it's early. I know it's early. I get it. It's early. I understand. It's early. 2 INTs. I'm telling you, he still went over 300 yards passing, but 2 INTs. Biggest story from that game, Marlon Mack, coach starting running back, has his ACL. He is done for the season. It was the Chicago Bears in a comeback win over I call them my Detroit Lions. I picked them to win the division. They go out, they take a big lead, and they give up 21 fourth quarter points to Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears. That's what I said. You heard me right. I said it right. Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears. Mitchell Trubisky threw 3 TD passes yesterday. Mitchell Trubisky brought his Bears all the way back and won a game yesterday, 27-23 on Sunday. Lions had a chance late. Dropped TD pass by Ricky, running back from Georgia. Not surprised. Played at Georgia. Dropped pass. I'm not surprised at all. But I am surprised that Mitchell Trubisky was able to drop 21 points in the second half. Not just the second half, but the fourth quarter of an NFL game. Mitchell Trubisky. I saw it with my own eyes. 3 TD passes in the fourth quarter. Bears over Lions, 27-23. It was the Las Vegas Raiders over the Carolina Panthers in a very, very entertaining football game. 30-40-30. Josh Jacobs of the Raiders rushed for 3 TDs yesterday, 3 TDs Sunday, and a well-played football game. Christian McCaffrey had 2 touchdowns. Both quarterbacks played well. David Carr played well. I thought Teddy Bridgewater did some nice things in his first start in a little while. It's the guy. He had a start last year. He had 5 starts last year at New Orleans as a fill-in, but this was his time, his start, and they won a very, very entertaining ball game. Lose a very entertaining ball game to the Las Vegas Raiders, 34-30. It was the Buffalo Bills, my Buffalo Bills, 27-17 over the hapless Jets. The Jets are a mess. Josh Allen was great Sunday, over 300 yards passing, 3 total TDs, 1 on the ground, 2 passing. He's sensational. The Bills are really, really good. It's the way I picked them to be the Super Bowl representative. But the Jets, the goddamn Jets are terrible. My cousin is right now currently in Bermuda, and he said that obviously they didn't have any direct TV or NFL red zone, so they had to watch what was on. And unfortunately for him, the Jets were playing, and I told him that no one should ever be forced to have to watch the New York Jets play football. What a mess of a franchise. Just an absolute train wreck of a franchise. The coach has no business being the coach. They have no offensive weapons whatsoever. Having said all of that, Jamison Crowder did have over 100 yards on like 10 catches. So, the only playmaker they have is Jamison Crowder, which is just a shame. I mentioned that Le'Veon Bell has gone on an IR for the hamstring. Just a terrible fit. I mean, just an absolute terrible fit. Just a terrible fit, man. And it's really a shame. Like it's a shame. It absolutely is a shame. Let's keep going on the scoreboard. It was the Ravens over the Browns, huge, 38-6. Lamar Jackson, the reigning, defending, current NFL MVP, just keeps getting better and better and better. And he just put on an absolute show on Sunday. 275-yard passing, 3 TDs through the air, give him another 45 yards on the ground. He was 20 of 25, which is just sensational. So Lamar Jackson and the Ravens pick up where they left off, 38-6 over the Browns. And Baker Mayfield, we get it. We had a bunch of coaches, bunch of offensive coordinators so far, and we get it. But 189 yards and an INT, just not going to get it. He had a terrible season last year, had a horrible start to the season this year. This is a big year for Baker, year 3. He got to show improve. He has to show improve this year, no doubt about that. They have plenty of offensive weapons on that team. There's no reason for this team to struggle from an offensive standpoint. Now, Baltimore is really, really good. I get that. But if you remember last year, the Browns beat the Ravens and put up like 40 on them. So they're capable of doing that to anybody. And it's all about Baker Mayfield. And right now, We don't know what Baker Mayfield is. We don't know who is Baker Mayfield. Is he capable? Is he a franchise quarterback at this point? We don't know. No one seems to know the answer to those questions. But they'll be found out this season. He better get this shit together this season. Year 3 is a show improved year for Baker Mayfield. But the Ravens win 38-6 behind a brilliant performance by Lamar Jackson. Did I mention brilliant performances? It was the Seattle Seahawks over the Atlanta Falcons, 38-25. Another great stalwart, that quarterback, that old good Hal Russell Wilson. Oh good Hal Russell Wilson. I love old. I have a healthy respect of hate for Russell Wilson because he's so damn good. He threw 4 TD passes yesterday. He was just outstanding. Just picking Atlanta apart. Atlanta Falcons are just, they are what they are at this point. Russell went over 300 yards passing, 4 TDs. I mentioned the 4 TDs. Yeah, man. I love Russell, man. Eric Metcalf. Eric Metcalf. Eric Metcalf. That's not Eric Metcalf. But the Metcalf, DK Metcalf, I'm sorry, is emerging into a outstanding receiver, and Russell is looking to him. But he was spreading that thing around yesterday. The Falcons. I just don't know what to say for the Falcons. I just don't know. They brought in Todd Gurley. He did score a touchdown, but their defense was just horrendous yesterday. Sunday, they was horrendous. They were just getting lit up everywhere. From Sunday also, it was the Chargers defeating the Bengals 16-13. Biggest takeaway, obviously, is Joe Burrow, first NFL start. Thought he did some good things. Thought he did some Ricky-type things. But at the end of the day, down by 3, Joe Burrow did Joe Burrow things yesterday, Sunday. Was able to lead his team down the field, made some plays with his legs, made some plays with his arm, got his team in position to potentially tie the game, send them to overtime, and right on cue, 31-yard field goal attempt. The kicker missed it wide right. Damn kickers. Man, what a shame that is. What a shame for Joe Burrow. A gritty performance by him. But one thing that Joe Burrow is going to learn really, really soon, no matter how good you are, no matter how great you are, at the end of the day, when you play for the Bengals, bad shit will happen. Bad shit will happen whether or not you want it to happen. Bad shit will happen because it's just bad. It's always bad. It's the Bongos. This is what they do. The kicker, just 31-yard field goal. A 31-yard field goal attempt should never be missed by a professional NFL kicker. Should never be missed by an NFL kicker. Ever. Under no circumstances should a 31-yard field goal be missed. Ever. But the Chargers get the win. Anthony Lynn. Tyrod Taylor did some nice things yesterday. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how long before we see Justin Herbert. I don't think he's quite ready. I think Tyrod goes at least half the season, maybe 2/3 of the season. I see Tyrod playing before they even turn to Justin Herbert. Anthony Lynn really needs to have a quality season. I think it's his 3rd year with the Chargers. I think he needs to have a quality season to keep his job. So I think he'll ride Tyrod as long as he can. But an interesting game. Chargers over Bengals 16-13. It was the Arizona Cardinals over my San Francisco 49ers. Kyler Murray had almost 100 yards rushing, over 200 yards passing. The Niners offensively just looked terrible. Just looked ho-hum terrible. Couldn't do some things. Got stopped at the 1-yard line, at the goal line. Got stopped. Jimmy G did not play well absolutely at all. Had a blocked punt that kind of swung the momentum of the game. It was 10-0 Niners at the time. They blocked a punt. They scored the next play. And then again, Kyler did some things with his feet in the 3rd and 4th quarters. Thought the defense got gassed. I mean, the first game of the season, you having to run around, chase that little guy. And then, last year, man, I told you that Arizona played the 49ers in 2 tough games last year. So I was not surprised this game came down to the 4th quarter. Niners had a chance late. Couldn't convert a 4th down inside of the Arizona 30-yard line. So the Cardinals jump out 1-0. Oh, let me mention DeAndre Hopkins. He had an outstanding game. I think he had 14 catches for like $140. I thought that it might be a little a little timing issue. I thought that Kyler would work himself into going to D-Hop as much, and then bam, the game started, and obviously he's looking for DeAndre Hopkins, who is one of the best receivers in the NFL. Had a great day on Sunday against my Niners. My Niners 0-1 to start the season. The battle of the old guard and quarterbacks, it was Drew Brees and the Saints over Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And to be quite frank, honestly, both quarterbacks stunk up the joint. Neither quarterback played very well. I think both quarterbacks are clearly showing signs of what's the word I'm looking for? Clearly regression. Both quarterbacks are clearly on the decline. I saw it in both guys last year. I know Drew Brees had the high completion percentage, but I told you in the second half of the season he was not nearly as good as he was the first half of the season. But Brady threw 2 INTs, 1 pick six, which is the third straight game that Tom Brady has thrown a pick six. That's 3 straight games that Tom Brady has thrown a pick six. That's 3 consecutive games. Drew Brees didn't turn it over, but they didn't do much offensively. He was only 18 of 30 for 160 yards, 2 TDs. But the Buccaneers, man, penalties, man, 9 penalties for 103 yards, man. That just would not get it done with a bad offensive line and a quarterback who was completely struggling yesterday. And I mentioned this on the NFL preview show. What Bruce Arians wants to do, BA wants to stretch the ball down the field. That's what Mike Evans and Chris Godwin want to do. They want to get down the field, which means 2 things. You got to hold the ball, and your quarterback got to be able to throw the deep ball. One issue, you can't hold the ball because the offensive line was terrible on Sunday. The other issue is I don't think Tom Brady can consistently throw the ball down the field, which is why the little slot receiver, I can't think of his name, became his favorite target on Sunday because he was doing option routes and little crossing routes and little out routes and deep over type or medium over routes. He wasn't being able to just throw it down the field. He had a couple moments. Now that don't mean he can't have moments where he can throw it down the field, but consistently throwing it down the field is not his strength at this point in his career. And that's what Mike Evans and Chris Godwin do best. Mike Evans, I think he only had 2 catches yesterday, total in the whole game. So this to me is the battle of the old guard. I mentioned that I talked about this earlier today that the new wave of quarterbacks is here. You have to be able to get out of that pocket because these D linemen now are so good, so athletic. As a quarterback, you have to be able to have what we like to call escape ability. You have to be able to get out of the pocket. And the old guard, I mentioned the old guard. I'll talk about another old guard in a minute. But you look at Brees and Brady, they're not going anywhere out of that pocket now. And Tom Brady took shots yesterday and got hit more times than I can remember him being hit in the last decade. Because he had a bad offensive line and he was going against a good defensive front. And that's a bad combination for a guy who cannot move. And again, if you want to take shots down the field, you want to throw it down the field, you have to stand in the pocket, you have to hold the ball, and you have a bad offensive line, and you have an old quarterback. This is why I did not and would not be, I was not so high on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming into the season. I know everybody was already crowning them in the NFC champions and all of this, and I know it's game 1, but that concerns me about a guy at that age who I see decline in with an offense that is designed to go down the field. And now you're taking into consideration that the offensive line is not as good as some of us thought it would be. Not me, but some of us thought it would be better, but it's not. But we'll see as it go along. I think the Saints are loaded. I think Drew Brees is good enough to get them where they want to. I think he's good enough to get them where they want to go. But the Buccaneers got work to do. In the Sunday night game, it was the LA Rams over the Dallas Cowboys 20-17. Malcolm Brown, 18 carries for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dak Prescott, I thought he played well, 25 of 39, 266 and a touchdown. Zeke ran the ball well, 22 of 96, 1 TD. Amari Cooper, 10 for 81. Play of the game, obviously, late in the fourth quarter, Dak hits Michael Gallup on a deep route down the rail, we like to call it, and a controversial offensive pass interference, to say the least, will call on Michael Gallup against Jalen Ramsey. Was it pass interference? I think that Jalen Ramsey sold it well enough to be pass interference. I personally would not have called that. I would not have called it because I thought they were just both hand fighting. I don't think he got clear separation, but Ramsey sold it so well that the referee thought he must have got some kind of advantage watching Ramsey fly back like that. He got fooled. I wouldn't have called it. I thought Ramsey just got beat on the play. Great route by Gallup, and one of the best throws Dak had made all night, and put them in position. But early in the game, they had a chance to tie the football game. They went for it on 4th and 2, I believe. Did not get it. Hated the route. Hated everything about that call. Thought they should have went ahead and kicked the field goal at that point. They struggled so much in short yard situations. You saw it the last couple of years. They are 1-7 now in one possession football games the last 2 years. So Cowboys are not a good team in close games we have seen as of late. So this is a common theme right now with the Cowboys. Can you win close football games? Because this is what it's gonna be. You know, you play your upper echelon teams, your better teams. You're gonna be in one possession football games. Can you get it done in those type of situations? And right now, we have not seen the Cowboys the last 2 seasons get it done in one possession football game. So the Rams win. Thought Jared Goff did some okay things. Aaron Donald was just a monster. He was just an absolute monster Sunday. But I'm not surprised about 99 doing 99 type things. That's what he does. Aaron Donald, he's really, really good. We go to Monday Night Football. Of course, we had a double header Monday night. We had the Steelers and the Giants. It was the battle of Ben was back taking on Daniel Jones and the Giants. They win. The Steelers win 26-16. I thought Ben did some really good things. I thought he did some really good things yesterday. He had 3 TD passes, 21 of 32, 229. Benny Snare ran it really well for him. Had a buck 13 on 19 carries. Juju made an appearance with 2 TDs catches last night. I just think, you know, the Steelers had a couple of injuries to the offensive line, which can hurt them on down the line with 2. If both those guys are out, that will really cripple their offensive line. 2 starters on the offensive line. That would be a huge loss for them. I just thought Ben made the play that he needed to make last night. I didn't see a lot of zip on his ball. I know people were going to talk about he was 21-32, which that means he was getting it there, but I didn't see a lot of zip, and I didn't see a lot of throws down the field. It looks like he was laboring a bit making those throws, but he knew where he would want to go with the ball, so it made it easier for him pre-snap to know where he needed to go with the ball. So he was anticipating his throws, which is a good thing. But I didn't see a lot of velocity last night. I didn't see no zip. Of course, he's not mobile as he used to be. But like I mentioned, he's old guard, man. The old guard is about gone, man. I mean, I look at Aaron Rodgers and I put Aaron Rodgers in his own little separate category. I put him in his own little separate category, the old guard. But Ben, Breeze, and Brady, man, Phillip Rivers, you can throw him in that category too. That old guard, that's the last of the old guard. There's a new wave of QB coming to this league right now. You have to be able to get out of the pocket. You have to be able to have some kind of mobility. But Steelers do get a win. Nice. I love the defense, by the way. I love the Steelers defense. Oh my, I love them. I'm in love with their defense. I'm in love with TJ Watt. I'm in love with my other guy on the other side. Oh God, talked about him all day at work. I talked about him all day with the kid from Kentucky. God, I talked about him all day at work. Now I can't remember his name. Oh, Bud Dupree. He was outstanding. Devin Bush, really, really good. Joe Hayden is all of a sudden has found the fountain of youth in Pittsburgh. We know about Mika Fitzpatrick, but I love the Steelers defense. Man, they are back to being a really good they can do some things. They can dominate up front. They can get after you on 3rd and long. Man, they got some athletic linebackers. Man, they are a good bunch. I like the Steelers defense a lot. And in the last game of the NFL weekend, Monday Night Football, it was the Tennessee Titans defeating the Denver Broncos. Stephen Gronkowski, kicker of the Patriots, formerly of the Patriots, missed 4 field goals last night, including 1 PAT, but he did hit the game winner to give them the lead. Derrick Henry went over 100 yards. Ryan Tannehill did some nice things, 29 of 43, 249, 2 TDs. Drew Lock, without his top receiver, Cortland Sutton, he went 22 of 33 for 216. A.J. Brown had a quiet night, 5 for 39. And Jerry Jeudy, making his NFL debut, had 4 catches for 56 yards. Noah Fant was the high receiver for the Denver Broncos. He had 8 catches and a touchdown last night for the Broncos. So there's your Week 1 NFL recap. Went through game by game. What I'm going to do, take a quick commercial break. And when I come back, I want questions. I want some comments. I want some phone calls, reaction to the NFL weekend. And then while we're doing that, I'll talk a little college football on the other side of the break. People, do not go anywhere. I will be right back after this message. Yo, welcome back to the show, man. This is Sentell, the hottest sports podcast in the South. I'm your boy, the sensational Sentell Whiteman, a.k.a. Mr. No Days Off, a.k.a. the one-man dynasty. Let me give y'all that phone number, 864-378-0163, 864-378-0163, 864-378-0163, right here on the best damn sports podcast, period. Yes, sir. We did talk about the Packers earlier. Aaron Rodgers was great yesterday. I thought he was, man, look, man, Aaron Rodgers, man. Hey, I didn't pick the Packers to win the division. I went on a limb. I'm going to stick with my pick. I ain't going anywhere, but they looked great yesterday. I thought the Vikings, anytime you can light the Vikings up, because I do respect the defense of the Vikings. I don't respect Kirk Cousins at all, but I do respect the Vikings defense. But when you can throw for 4 TDs on 32 or 44, he's a bad man. What can I say? He's a bad man. He's still elite as elite can get. And hey man, he do that against the Vikings defense. I respect that. Packers played really well yesterday on Sunday. 864-378-0163, 864-378-0163 on the hottest sports podcast in the South. Sentell, Season 4, Episode 4, right here live on Facebook. We have our first full weekend of the NFL is in the books. So we want to recap that. You can. I went through game by game, gave you all the scores, gave you all the little tidbits that I picked up. If you want to chime in, give your thoughts, your comments, 864-378-0163. Had college football over the weekend. The ACC kicked off their season on Saturday. Started with North Carolina and Syracuse. North Carolina gets a win. It wasn't pretty at times, but they did knock off Syracuse at 3:30. We had Georgia Tech. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets went down to Tallahassee and upset the Florida State Seminoles in Coach Mike Norvell's debut. They get the job done, 16-13. Other games of note, the Big 12 had a rough weekend. To say the least, they got owned. Man. Let me mention the number 1 team in the country before I get to the Big 12. There's ACC action. The Clemson Tigers, the number 1 team in the country, dismantled Wake Forest. It's Wake Forest. I didn't expect much. Clemson, got out to a big lead, and they started playing a lot of players. A lot of different guys got in, got some touches, and I thought Trevor looked good. To me, this is more like a a glorified warm up game for Clemson. They just kind of, they just did their thing. This jumped out and did their thing. Mr. Johnson, no, that is not the greatest upset in college history, because if you haven't been following Florida State, they have been terrible the last 3 years. They have been god awful. They have the most losses in the ACC in the last 3 seasons combined. That's fact. Look it up. Go look it up. They have the worst record in the ACC in the last 3 years. Fact. Go look it up. It's true. It's true. True. But yeah, the Clemson Tigers defeated Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Game day was in Winston-Salem, and Clemson just went out there and did what we thought they would do. I mean, Brian Barisi, some of the freshman guys got in, looked good. I thought he looked the part of the guy who's the number 1 player in the nation in some sites. He was dominant, but I didn't expect to, come out here and go, hey man, Clemson playing Wake Forest. So yeah, but anyway, I won't tell you the story I'm gonna tell, because that's the Big 12. Big 12 who opted in and said, we're gonna play 2, we're gonna play, we never wavered. They went out there this weekend and 3 of their teams got just slapped around by the Sun Belt Conference. Just got smacked around. Kansas State got beat by Arkansas State. Louisiana just ran all over Iowa State, just ran them out the building. And then Coastal Carolina just laid the wood. They laid the wood to Kansas. Just beat them down. Just beat them down. So it was just a bad weekend for the Big 12. Texas played. They did some things. They beat UTEP. Oklahoma just smashed Missouri State. Some other action, but this weekend we got Florida State and Miami. We did have a postponement. We did have Virginia Tech got canceled because of some COVID concerns. Really terrible week this weekend in college football. Like, for the games, just a terrible week. Clemson playing the Citadel this week, so not a whole lot on the slate. I know Miami Florida State play this week. It's the 19th. Yes, yeah. Florida State and Miami play Saturday under the lights. Miami did play Thursday. They actually played pretty well defensively. They ran the ball, did some things. De'Aaron King, the transfer from Houston, he ran around. He didn't really throw it particularly well, but he did run around, do some things. They handled UAB in the second half of that game, kind of pulled away. But that was your college football weekend in a nutshell. I mean, it really, the meat and potatoes is September 26th. And I'm not saying that just because the SEC is playing, but the SEC is playing. So that's the meat and potatoes of college football when you come down to it. And when that kickoff plus the ACC with the Big 12, then we'll start having some really great football slates again, because I think that conference versus conference thing is really going to be really a big time draw. Like, I think it's going to bring a lot of eyeballs to the set. I mean, of course, it's football. Like, look at this past weekend ratings. The NFL was great with their ratings this week. They were outstanding on Sunday. For all those people who are not watching, somebody's watching because the numbers say so. But if you want to get in, 864-378-0163, 864-378-0163 right here on Sentell's Intel, the hottest sports podcast in the South, the best damn sports podcast, period. If you want to get in on the show, you can. We have a update from the Eastern Conference Finals. It is all tied at halftime. It is all knotted up, 55-55. I told you this series will be nip and tuck all the way to the end. I think it going 7. And I really just played defense right now. I didn't pick a winner. You put a gun in my head. You put a gun in my head. Man. If the Celtics had Gordon Hayward, I maybe would lean more toward the Celtics. But it is, man. These teams are so. I think Miami has a better bench. Man, I don't know where I would go with that. I don't know where I would lean with that. If you put a gun to my head, I would probably take. Man, I would probably go Miami because they have a little bit better bench and they have a better inside presence. Bam is really tough on the inside. I do like the kid from the Celtics. He plays really hard. He's actually a pretty underrated player. I can't think of his name right offhand. The power forward. Oh, Theus. Yeah, Theus. Yeah, Theus is a really good ball player for them. Daniel Tice. He's a really good player for them. 55-55 at halftime in the Eastern Conference Final. Remember that the game 7 of the Western Conference semis follows this game. Nuggets and Clippers in a game 7. Two of the greatest words in sports. Game 7 tonight. So make sure you tune in after the Celtics and the Heat for that. I'll be glued. The second half of this Heat and Celtics game, as well as the Nuggets and Clippers game 7 after that. You want to get in? 864-378-0163, 864-378-0163. Who are some of your standouts from this weekend's NFL action? Clyde Helaire-Edwards, 25 for $138 on Thursday night. Russell Wilson, 4 TDs yesterday, 300 yards. Josh Allen, 300 plus yards, 3 TDs, 1 rushing. Aaron Rodgers, 4 TDs, 332 of 44. Cam Newton had 2 rushing TDs. He was good. Josh Jacobs, 3 TDs. Lamar Jackson was outstanding. So some of those top performers of the weekend. Who was the top performers in your eyes of the past of week 1 of the NFL season? 864-378-0163, 864-378-0163. While we wait on that, I don't believe, I can't believe it myself, but I have heard people say that I have not mentioned Major League Baseball. I have heard people say that I don't mention Major League Baseball here, but I don't talk Major League Baseball because my viewers tell me they don't want to hear about Major League Baseball. But I had a viewer tell me we need to talk about Major League Baseball in here. Well, I ain't going to talk about it, but I'll just give you a rundown I'll give you a rundown of the standings. How about that? I'll do that for you. You look at the standings right now, it is the Tampa Bay Rays who are leading the American League East. They are currently, 30-17. They have a 3.5 game lead over the Toronto Blue Jays. The Yankees trail about 4 games. The Orioles is about has 8. The Red Sox are 18.5 games out of first place, or 13.5. I can't really tell. Chicago White Sox lead the American League Central. They are really, really good. The Twins are 2 games back. The Indians are 5 games back. Not going to mention Detroit and Kansas City. They are terrible. In the AL West, the Oakland Athletics lead the division by 6.5 games. They are really, really good. Let's see, in the National League. Let's get to the National League, which only one I care about. In the National League, the Atlanta Braves lead the National League East by 2.5 games over the Florida Marlins. The Phillies are 4 games back. Look, Chicago Cubs lead the NL Central. The Cardinals are 4 games back there. The Los Angeles Dodgers have just, this is ridiculous how good the Dodgers are. They're 33 and like 16. And, they're just running away with the division. Like, just running away with the division. They just playing really well. And with the 60-game season, playoffs will be here soon. You're talking about 10, 12, 15 teams got 12 games. Some got about 15. So we'll be in the playoffs really, really soon on the baseball front. So that's about all you get for the baseball talk until the playoffs start. When the playoffs start, we'll pick up a little bit more. But if you want to get in, 864-378-0163. 864-378-0163. First full weekend of the NFL season is in the book. I would normally be back here on a Monday for an overreaction Monday, but today is a reactionary Tuesday to start this opening weekend of the NFL season. We mentioned that the college football season will continue this weekend, as well as week 2 of the National Football League. If you want to get in, 864-378-0163, 864-378-0163. Who are your top performers of the weekend? What did you think of the NFL opening weekend of the season? How does your team look? Do they stink? Are they the best in the world? Comments, concerns, anything you want to discuss right here on this sports podcast. So I'm gonna stay, like I say, a few more minutes. Hopefully, get a phone call or 2, maybe some more comments, and then we will turn it over. I'm making sure. 864-378-0163, 864-378-0163. I mentioned Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics are all tied up at 55 at halftime in the Eastern Conference Finals. I expect this should be a great series. I'm really looking forward to watching it play out over the next week or so. Don't look like we're gonna get a phone call, which is fine. It's all good. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching. Sentell. I will be back on a Friday show. Friday, we'll be getting you ready for the weekend in the NFL. Also looking ahead to the college football weekend, which is not that good, but we'll get you ready for that. I want everybody to tune in and enjoy the NBA games tonight. Enjoy Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals between Denver and the Clippers. Also, watch Celtics and the Heat second half. Enjoy the basketball. I will see you Friday. We'll talk more NFL. We'll talk college football. We'll even talk some MLB. We'll talk about some golf. U.S. Open starts on Thursday at Wingfoot. So, man, just a lot going on in the world of sports. Again, thank everybody for watching, tuning in. I will see you guys on Friday. Your boy, I'm out of here.